In 2022, decorated Afghanistan combat veteran and former Air Force intelligence officer who worked at the National Geospatial-Intelligence Agency, NGA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, David Charles Grouch, left his high-level government position, swirling in a whirlwind of incredible, scandalous revelations. In the wake of what Groucho shares, the world begins to look at UFOs radically differently, and multiple high-ranking military officials are called to answer in court about their actions. From 2019 to 2021, Grush is a representative of the Working Group in Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. From late 2021 to July 2022, he was one of the leaders of the NGA's independent analysis of unidentified anomalous events. He even helped draft the National Defense Authorization Act of 2023, which includes UFO reporting provisions, including whistleblower protections and exemptions from orders and non-disclosure agreements. Before his departure, Groucho made scandalous revelations to his superiors that the U.S. federal government maintained a secret program to recover unidentified flying vehicles possessed inhuman spacecraft along with their dead pilots. He has reviewed documents that state that Benito Mussolini's government discovered inhuman spacecraft in 1933 that the Vatican and Five Eyes helped the U.S. acquire in 1944 or 1945. Groucho claims to have information that U.S. citizens were injured and killed as part of the government's attempts to cover up the information. After this statement, he was repressed and forced to leave. Rumors of the existence of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, are unexplained anomalous phenomenon, UAPs, as they are newly called in defense circles, took a dramatic turn with the claims of former intelligence official David Grouch. Grush's allegations have renowned calls for the U.S. government to disclose the evidence it has on UFOs. David Grush, who has helped a prominent role in UFO analysis at a U.S. Department of Defense agency, accused the U.S. government of possessing vehicles with intact and partially intact alien origins. His allegations are that the crucial information is being illegally withheld from Congress. Recounting his own experiences, Groucho revealed that after he turned over classified information about these vehicles to Congress, he faced reprisals from government officials, which led him to resign in April 2022 after a significant 14-year career in U.S. intelligence. Grouch's claims are corroborated by Jonathan Gray, current intelligence officer at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, NACIC. He also confirms the existence of exotic materials, pointing to the possibility of extraterrestrial existence, stating, "The phenomenon of non-human intelligence is real. We are not alone. Research of this kind is not limited to the United States. It is a global phenomenon, and yet the global solution continues to elude us." This revelation comes amid increased interest in the subject of spacecraft, spurred by incredible observations and reports. In 2021, the Pentagon published a report on UFOs that revealed more than 140 cases of encounters that could not be explained. This report was followed by a leak of military footage showing unexplained phenomenon in the skies, with Navy pilots testifying they had frequent encounters with strange aerial craft off the U.S. coast. In a more detailed and exclusive discussion with the online edition of Debrief, Grouch further reveals that both the U.S. government and defense contractors have been involved in the recovery of fragments of non-human ships, and some cases entire ships, for decades. Through analysis, the material was found to be, in quotes, of exotic origin, suggesting a non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or of unknown origin. Grouch elaborates of the unique characteristics of these materials, stating, "This assessment as to origin is based on vehicle morphology and material science, as well as the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures." Debrief's extensive reporting, based on interviews with senior intelligence officials, highlights Grouch's extensive knowledge of non-human materials and vehicles. Grouch has reported to Congress on programs that have existed for decades and dealt with UFO material recovery, citing ongoing ship recovery operations at various levels of activity. The unfolding narrative piqued the interest of the public and some U.S. senators, which, under public pressure, led in July 2022 to the creation of the Office of Anomaly Resolution at levels dedicated to tracking UFOs. In a desperate attempt to cool passions, the fledgling agency created the website www.aaro.mil. On the very first line, you're greeted with a warm welcome from the director, which reads, "Welcome to the website for the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. Our team of experts is leading the U.S. government's efforts to address unidentified anomalous phenomenons, UAP, using rigorous scientific framework and a data-driven approach. Since its establishment in July 2022, AARO has taken important steps to improve data collection, standardize reporting requirements, and mitigate the potential threats to safety and security posed by a UAP. We look forward to using the site to regularly update the public about AARO's work and findings, and to provide mechanism for UAP reporting. Thank you for visiting." Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, Director. The paragraph makes it sound like, after nearly 80 years, we now call UFOs a phenomenon, so you can quite safely report sightings. We won't call you weirdos anymore. More interesting, though, comes from the video section where footage of unidentified aerial vehicles, newly referred to as anomalies, filmed by the military, have been posted. The footage is startling and disturbing to say the least. As of last December, the service reported that it had received several hundred new reports, but so far, no evidence of extraterrestrial life. What a big surprise, right? Despite the absence of concrete evidence, Grouch and Gray's claims were deemed very important by Nick Pope, a former UFO investigator at the British Ministry of Defense. Pope stresses the importance of genuine insiders putting forward such information, distinguishing it from the mere conspiracy theories circulating on blogs. He noted, "It's one thing to have stories on conspiracy blogs, but it's the next level when real insiders show up with countless awards and accolades." According to Pope, Grouch and Gray's revelations should be seen as an element of the growing stream of information about UFOs, suggesting that these revelations bring us closer to understanding the mystery surrounding extraterrestrial life and technology, making a profound step toward unraveling this long-standing mystery. And that is exactly what is happening. In accordance with established procedures, Grouch transmits the information extended from disclosure to us to the Department of Defense Preliminary Review and Security Division. All of its submissions were approved for public disclosure on April 4th and 6th of 2023. Grouch's disclosures and those of other non-public witnesses, under new provisions of the latest Defense Appropriations Bill, signal a growing determination by some in government to expose a colossal enigma with national security implications that traces its origins to the World War II years. For decades, the Air Force has waged a disinformation campaign to discredit reported sightings of these unexplained objects. Now, with these public hearings and many classified briefings behind them, Congress is demanding answers. Christopher Mellon has spent 2 decades in the U.S. intelligence community and served as a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence. It was recently revealed that he has been cooperating with Congress for years on the issue of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Mellon says that a number of current and former employees from all levels of the structure have provided him with extensive information about allegedly program, including such things as history, government protocols, and the location in which an extraterrestrial vehicle is believed to have been found and recovered. Mellon is concerned that it is essential that this potential sensitive information be passed on to the proper individuals for verification and validation. However, this process is complicated by the fact that some sources express distrust over the anomaly resolution office leadership at all levels. In their view, it creates obstacles to the flow of information. Nonetheless, following Groucho's example, there is talk of a wave of insiders who are now willing to take the risk and come forward with testimony about these recovery programs. The phenomenon of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, as they are now called, is not a new concept. The sky has been host to mysterious objects for millennia, as recounted in various ancient texts. In the past, celestial phenomena such as comets, meteor showers, auroras, or lightning during earthquakes have been part of the Earth's spectacle. These phenomena, which are now being demystified by modern science, once caused awe in the ancient world. Ancient civilizations often interpreted these mysterious aerial sightings as ominous portents, signaling social unrest or impending disaster. This view is echoed in today's reactions to NEOs, which associate unusual celestial phenomenon with geopolitical or military turmoil. Historical chronicles of celestial mysteries. The scriptures and ancient texts mention heavenly chariots and divine vehicles. For example, the prophet Ezekiel in the Bible tells of the vision of a glowing divine chariot inhabited by beings with human appearances but with 4 faces and wings. Vimanas, the celestial chariots of deities, are mentioned in ancient Indian epics such as the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. In these accounts, the deities traverse the cosmos in these divine ships. The chronicles of the Roman historian Livy in 2018 BC, at the beginning of the Second Punic War, mention a display of ships that illuminate the sky. While it has been suggested that these may have been peculiar cloud formations, Livy's description alludes to a shimmering or luminous quality similar to contemporary descriptions of the unidentified aerial phenomenon. In 173 BCE, Livy tells of another instance of a huge fleet in the sky, and in 217 BCE, he mentions round shields appearing overhead, conjuring images of flying saucers, a term synonymous with unidentified aerial phenomena, especially in the Cold War era. An intriguing account comes from the Greek author Plutarch in his biography of the Roman general Lucullus. When Lucullus' troops confront the Pontic king Mithridates VI, a strange object falls from the sky, halting the impending battle. Described as a flaming creature resembling a wine jar, tinged with molten silver, this ancient NEB left both factions astonished, driving them apart. The sight of this object caused both armies to perceive it as an ominous omen, causing them to retreat. Similarly, the Roman Jewish historian Josephus Flavius describes an aerial engagement between the NEB in 65 CE during a conflict between Roman and Jewish forces. He describes chariots and armed battalions maneuvering through the clouds before sunset, a spectacle that many eyewitness associates with the subsequent Roman victory. Historical accounts often intertwine celestial phenomena with divine or ominous symbolism. St. Paul in his letter to the Ephesians referred to God's shield of faith, and medieval Irish texts often depict ships sailing in the sky, symbolizing the sanctuary provided by the Church to the faithful. The increasing number of reports of unusual aerial phenomenon often coincides with the dawn of the new millennium. fueling Christians' fears of hopes regarding the Day of Judgment prophesied in the Book of Revelation. Intriguingly, modern UFOlogy combines these apocalyptic prophecies with a cosmic narrative presenting the Messiah as a heavenly traveler coming to save humanity from malevolent extraterrestrial beings. Every year, millions of people tell of UFO encounters. While some admit religious affiliation, others deny such. UFOlogy can provide a bridge between religion and science, offering a compelling narrative to people seeking census between these fields. The elusive nature of UFOs, both ancient and modern, epitomizes humanity's tendency to project earthly crisis into celestial phenomenon. While the exact nature of the objects and lights described in ancient texts remains shrouded in mystery, possibly due to actual sightings or psychological distresses, their frequent association with periods of anxiety and impending change is evident. Without a tangible gauge like the doomsday we await today, ancient civilizations looked to the heavens for portents, finding them in canvases on which to paint their fears and hopes. Through the prism of modern research, these historical testimonies of the unidentified aerial phenomenon resonate with contemporary observations, reflecting the eternal human tendency to look for answers and signs in the unknown spaces above us, because the evidence is out there, somewhere. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by subscribing to the channel.